Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to Storylight, where we bring you captivating stories that will expand your English skills and vocabulary. Get ready to embark on an adventure that will brighten your mind and light up your language learning. Let's dive in. In the bustling city of Brightville, there was a young inventor named Max. Max had always been fascinated by how things worked and spent his days tinkering with gadgets in his tiny workshop. One day, Max came up with a brilliant idea for a self-driving car. He worked day and night, pouring his heart and soul into his invention. However, no matter how hard he tried, the car just wouldn't drive on its own. Feeling frustrated and defeated, Max decided to take a break and clear his mind. He went for a walk in the park, where he noticed a caterpillar struggling to break free from its cocoon. Max watched in amazement as the caterpillar wriggled and pushed, trying to escape its confinement. After a while, Max noticed that the caterpillar had stopped moving. Concerned, he gently touched the cocoon and felt a faint movement inside. Remembering something he had read about metamorphosis, Max realized that the caterpillar was undergoing a miraculous transformation into a butterfly. Inspired by the caterpillar's struggle, Max returned to his workshop with a renewed sense of determination. He made a few adjustments to his self-driving car and, to his amazement, it started to navigate on its own. From that day on, Max learned the importance of patience and perseverance. He understood that just like the caterpillar needed time to transform into a butterfly, great inventions also take time to perfect. Max's self-driving car became a huge success, and he traveled the world, inspiring others to never give up on their dreams. And as he cruised down the streets, Max knew that with a little patience and a lot of determination, anything was possible. Let's learn some new words and expressions. Understanding these words will help you to enhance your English skills. Let's start. Tinkering, verb, attempting to repair or improve something in a casual or experimental way. Example, Max had always been fascinated by how things worked and spent his days tinkering with gadgets in his tiny workshop. Fascinated, adjective, extremely interested or attracted. Example, Max had always been fascinated by how things worked. Pouring, verb, giving all of one's energy, effort, or attention to something. Example, he worked day and night, pouring his heart and soul into his invention. Confinement, noun, the state of being confined, restricted limits. Example, Max watched in amazement as the caterpillar wriggled and pushed, trying to escape its confinement. Intrigued, adjective, fascinated or interested. Example, intrigued by the caterpillar's struggle, Max returned to his workshop with a renewed sense of determination. Perseverance, noun, persistence in doing something despite difficulty or delay in achieving success. Example, from that day on, Max learned the importance of patience and perseverance. Anticipation, noun, a feeling of excitement about something that is going to happen. Example, Max watched in anticipation as the caterpillar wriggled and pushed. Intricate, adjective, very complicated or detailed. Example, he made a few adjustments to his self-driving car and, to his amazement, it started to navigate on its own. Metamorphosis, noun, a complete change in form or nature. Example, Max realized that the caterpillar was undergoing a miraculous metamorphosis into a butterfly. Navigated, verb, planned and directed a route or course. Example, he made a few adjustments to his self-driving car, and, to his amazement, it started to navigate on its own. Let me know in comment section, where did you use these words? And stay tuned for more stories that illuminate vocabulary and inspire learning. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Storylight for more engaging tales. Until next time, keep shining bright with Storylight. Hello and welcome to Storylight, your guide to learning English through engaging stories. Today, I have a story for you that's for practicing your English speaking skills. Before we begin, I want to remind you to listen carefully to the story. Along the way, you'll encounter new English vocabulary. After the story, it's your turn to speak. Try to repeat after Noor to enhance your English speaking skills. Are you ready? Let's dive into Noor's story. I woke up bright and early this morning, full of excitement for the day ahead. The first thing I did was turn on the lights in my room and prepare a delicious breakfast of tea and fritters. As I sat down to eat, I practiced speaking English aloud, describing the flavors and textures of my food. After breakfast, I decided to tackle some housework. I started by sweeping the floors, then mopping them until they shone. As I dusted the furniture, I continued practicing my English, describing each action I took. With my house sparkling clean, I decided to head out for a walk in the park. I grabbed my backpack and set off, enjoying the fresh air and the beauty of nature. Along the way, I met a friendly dog and stopped to pet him. As the day drew to a close, I returned home, feeling happy and content. I cooked myself dinner and sat down to eat, practicing more English sentences as I described my day to myself. Let's explain some English words. Understanding these words will help you to enhance your English. Let's start. Tackle. To make determined efforts to deal with a problem or difficult task. Example. After breakfast, I decided to tackle some housework. Sweeping. To clean an area by brushing away dirt or litter. Example. I started by sweeping the floors. Mopping. To clean or wipe something with a mop. Example. I mopped the floors until they shone. Sparkling. Shining brightly with flashes of light. Example. With my house sparkling clean, I decided to head out for a walk. Content. In a state of peaceful happiness. Example. I returned home, feeling happy and content. Drew to a close, to come to an end. Example. As the day drew to a close, Maya returned home. Pet. To stroke or pat an animal affectionately. Example. Along the way, I met a friendly dog and stopped to pet him. Set off. To start a journey. Example. I grabbed my backpack and set off for a walk in the park. And that's the end of Noor's story. I hope you enjoyed listening and practicing your English speaking skills. Try to speak yourself about your activities. Remember, the more you practice speaking, the more confident you'll become. Stay tuned for more stories on Storylight to continue improving your English. Until then, keep shining bright with Storylight. Hello and welcome to Storylight, your guide to learning English through engaging stories. Today, Maya will tell you her story about overcoming the challenge of understanding English, but not being able to speak fluently. Before we begin, I want to remind you to listen carefully to the story. Along the way, you'll encounter new English vocabulary. After the story, it's your turn to practice speaking. Are you ready? Let's start the journey. Hi everyone. Today I want to share my journey to becoming fluent in English. It wasn't easy, but I learned a lot along the way, and I want to share my tips with you all. When I first started learning English, I could understand it pretty well, but speaking was a different story. I was too shy and afraid of making mistakes. But I realized that making mistakes is a part of learning, so I started practicing speaking more, even if it was just to myself while doing chores. I would describe what I was doing in English, like I am folding the clothes, or I need to wash the dishes. It helped me get used to forming sentences and using new words. I also watched a lot of English movies and TV shows. I would repeat the lines out loud, trying to mimic the actor's pronunciation and intonation. Another thing that helped me was reading aloud. I would pick a book or an article and read it out loud, focusing on my pronunciation and fluency. And of course, practice, practice, practice. I would have conversations with myself, imagining different scenarios and responding in English. Now, I can confidently say that I am fluent in English. It took time and effort, but it was definitely worth it. So don't be afraid to practice speaking, even if it's just to yourself. You'll be amazed at how quickly you'll improve. Let's learn some words. Understanding these words will help you to enhance your English skills. Fluently means speaking a language easily and accurately. Example, Maya can now speak English fluently after years of practice. Engaging means interesting and captivating. Example, the engaging story kept the audience entertained until the end. Chores means routine tasks or jobs, typically household duties. Example, Maya's daily chores include washing dishes, doing laundry, and sweeping the floor. Intonation means the rise and fall of pitch in speaking, conveying meaning or emotion. Example, pay attention to your intonation when asking questions in English to sound more natural. Mimic means to imitate or copy someone's actions or speech. Example, Maya practiced English pronunciation by mimicking the actors in movies. Cluttered means messy or untidy, with many things scattered around. Example, Maya's desk was cluttered with papers and books, making it difficult to find anything. Cozy means warm, comfortable, and inviting. Example, after a long day, Maya enjoys relaxing in her cozy living room with a cup of tea. Potted plants means plants grown in pots or containers rather than in the ground. Example, Maya's balcony is filled with colorful potted plants, adding life to her apartment. Household means relating to tasks or duties performed in a home. Example, Maya spends her weekends completing household chores like cleaning and organizing. And that concludes our story. I hope you found it inspiring as you work towards improving your English speaking skills. Remember, practice makes perfect. Keep practicing speaking English and you'll soon become fluent. Stay tuned for more stories on Storylight to continue your English learning journey. See you next time. Until then, keep shining bright with Storylight.